The unseen fracture. The morning sun glinted off the Atlantic as Emma Ward completed her daily beach walk. She paused to collect a sample from the shoreline, her trained eyes spotting changes in the coastal ecosystem she'd been studying for years. At 42, Emma had established herself as one of Charleston's respected marine biologists, finding purpose in preserving the delicate balance of ocean life. Her phone buzzed with a message from Nathan, her husband of 15 years. "Big news tonight. Celebration dinner at Tidal Basin 7 p.m. Emma smiled, tucking a strand of her auburn hair behind her ear. Nathan's real estate development company had been pursuing a major waterfront project for months. His ambition was what first attracted her to him. That and his ability to make her laugh even during her most stressful research deadlines. Arriving at the Marine Research Center, Emma greeted her assistant Maya with a wave. "Those water quality results from Cooper River come in yet?" "Just uploaded them to your server," Maya replied. "And Dr. Harmon called about the conservation grant proposal. Said it's looking promising?" Emma nodded, settling at her desk. The grant could fund her team's research for 3 years, stability that would allow them to expand their work protecting coastal habitats. She spent the day analyzing data and preparing her presentation for next week's environmental symposium. By evening, Emma had changed into a navy dress that complemented her eyes. She walked into Tidal Basin Restaurant, immediately spotting Nathan at their usual table by the window. He stood to greet her, his tall frame impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that emphasized his broad shoulders. "There she is," Nathan said, kissing her cheek. "The brilliant Dr. Ward." "What are we celebrating?" Emma asked, accepting the glass of champagne he offered. "The Seaside Heights project got approved. All permits cleared." His hazel eyes sparkled with triumph. "It's happening, Em." "That's wonderful." She raised her glass. "To your success." After ordering, Nathan leaned forward. "There's more. With the investor funding secured, I've been thinking we should look at properties in Savannah." Emma's fork paused midway to her mouth. "Savannah? But we just finished renovating our place last year." "I know, but this is a golden opportunity. The market there is exploding." Nathan's words rushed out. "I've already lined up showings for next weekend." "Wait, you want to move?" "What about my research?" "The grant I'm about to receive is specifically for Charleston coastal ecosystems. You could transfer the work, or commute initially." Nathan waved dismissively. "This is huge for us, Emma." A chill settled in her chest. This wasn't a discussion. It was Nathan informing her of a decision already made, a pattern that had become increasingly common. "I need to use the restroom," Emma said quietly. In the privacy of the stall, she took deep breaths. Her phone buzzed with an email notification. The sender was unfamiliar. Caroline Porter from Coastal Realty. Opening it revealed a message that turned her blood cold. "Mr. Ward, congratulations on the successful closing of your Beach Haven Drive property. The final documents are ready for digital signature. As discussed, the proceeds have been transferred to your business account. Beach Haven Drive, their home. The cottage with the wraparound porch where they'd watched countless sunsets, where they'd planned to grow old together." Emma's hands trembled as she returned to the table. Nathan was typing on his phone, oblivious to the storm brewing across from him. "Nathan," her voice was eerily calm, "did you sell our house?" His head snapped up, color draining from his face. The moment stretched between them like a fraying rope. "I can explain," he began, confirming her worst fears. "It was a business decision. The market peaked, and we needed capital for—" "You sold our home without telling me?" Her voice rose slightly. "The home that's in both our names?" He glanced around nervously. "Lower your voice. It's complicated. I forged your—" He stopped himself. "I had to move quickly. The Seaside project needed backing, and our house was sitting on equity we could use. Our house wasn't an investment property. It was our home." Tears threatened, but Emma refused to let them fall. "How could you possibly think this was okay?" "I was going to surprise you with something better. In Savannah, where we can start fresh." "You mean where you've decided we'll start fresh?" Emma stood, her legs unsteady. "You made this life-changing decision without me, Nathan. As if my opinion, my consent, meant nothing." "Emma, please, don't follow me," she whispered, gathering her purse. "I can't even look at you right now." Outside in the warm evening air, Emma's phone rang. It was Olivia, her closest friend since college. "Liv," her voice broke, "can I stay with you tonight? I need help." The life Emma thought she knew had just dissolved beneath her feet like sand in the rising tide. Rising tides. 3 days later, Emma sat at Olivia's kitchen island, staring at bank statements and property documents. Olivia Chen, a corporate attorney with a no-nonsense attitude, set a mug of coffee beside her friend. "So he not only forged your signature on the deed transfer but also emptied your joint savings?" Olivia asked, her dark eyes narrowing. "Left just enough to avoid suspicion," Emma confirmed, pushing back her tangled hair. 6 years of saving for retirement, gone. She hadn't slept properly since discovering Nathan's betrayal. Dozens of missed calls and apologetic texts from him remained unanswered. "This isn't just a marital dispute, Em. It's fraud," Olivia said firmly. "As your friend, I'm sympathetic. As a lawyer, I'm telling you to protect yourself." Emma sighed. "I keep thinking there must be some explanation I'm missing." "The explanation is that Nathan prioritized his business over your marriage. He violated your trust and broke the law." Olivia squeezed Emma's shoulder. "You need to decide what you want to do about it." That afternoon, Emma returned to work, finding solace in the familiar environment of her lab. Her colleague Jackson Rivera, the Marine Conservation Program Director, noticed her distraction during their research meeting. "Everything okay?" he asked after the others had left. "You seem somewhere else today." "My husband sold our house without telling me," Emma said, the words still feeling surreal. "Used the money for his business." Jackson's expression shifted from surprise to concern. "That's unbelievable. What can I do?" "Actually," Emma straightened, an idea forming, "you mentioned that development project threatening the Folly Beach wetlands? The one seeking final approval? Seaside Heights? Yes, we've been gathering data to challenge the environmental impact report. Nathan's company is behind that project. It's why he needed the money." Emma's scientific mind began connecting dots. "I want to see that data." Over the following weeks, Emma channeled her pain into purpose. By day, she conducted her marine research. By evening, she worked with Jackson's conservation team to expose the environmental risks of Nathan's Seaside Heights development. Her expertise proved invaluable as she identified critical flaws in the project's environmental assessment. "This report understates the impact on 3 endangered species," Emma explained at a community meeting, pointing to projection slides. "The proposed construction would irreversibly damage breeding grounds protected under federal law." The crowd murmured as Emma continued presenting evidence. Daniel Fletcher, a local journalist, approached her afterward. "Dr. Ward, your analysis is compelling. Would you be willing to go on record? The public should know about these environmental concerns." Emma hesitated only briefly. "Yes, it's time for transparency." The resulting article in the Charleston Guardian didn't mention her connection to Nathan, focusing instead on her scientific credentials and concerns about the development. But in Charleston's tight-knit business community, connections quickly emerged. When Emma's phone rang with Nathan's number for the 20th time that day, she finally answered. "What the hell are you doing?" His voice trembled with anger. "Investors are pulling out. The Environmental Board is reconsidering our permits." "I'm doing my job, Nathan. Protecting ecosystems from harmful development." "This is personal and you know it," he hissed. "You're trying to destroy me." "No," Emma replied calmly. "I'm preventing you from destroying something irreplaceable. Just like our home was to me." That evening, Olivia arrived at her apartment with takeout and wine to find Emma staring at her laptop. "Your crusade is making waves," Olivia said, opening containers of Thai food. "Nathan's company stock dropped 15% today." Emma felt a twinge of guilt, quickly replaced by resolve. "This isn't about revenge. His project genuinely threatens protected habitats." "Two birds, one stone," Olivia shrugged, pouring wine. "Speaking of birds, that conservation director seems to watch you like a hawk." "Jackson? He's been supportive, that's all." "Supportive and single," Olivia teased. "And definitely interested." Emma rolled her eyes. "I'm still married, Liv. Technically. But Nathan broke that contract when he decided to act alone. Olivia raised her glass. To independence and consequences. Later that night, Emma walked along the shoreline near Olivia's apartment. The rhythmic sound of waves usually calmed her, but tonight her thoughts remained turbulent. Her phone chimed with a text from Nathan. Please meet me tomorrow. We need to talk. I've lost everything. Shifting ground. Nathan arrived at Pier Park looking nothing like the confident developer Emma had married. His usually immaculate appearance had given way to rumpled clothes and shadowed eyes. He sat beside her on the bench overlooking the harbor, maintaining a careful distance. Thank you for meeting me, he said, his voice hoarse. Emma nodded, keeping her gaze on the water. Say what you need to say. The seaside project is dead. The Environmental Board revoked our permits, and the investors have pulled out. Nathan ran a hand through his disheveled hair. My partner Marcus wants to buy me out, for pennies on the dollar. That's unfortunate, Emma said evenly, but not my concern anymore. I know. Nathan turned to face her. I didn't come to ask for help. I came to apologize and explain if you'll listen. Emma had rehearsed this moment countless times, staying strong, unmoved by whatever excuse he offered. But seeing him so defeated stirred emotions she'd tried to suppress. Go ahead, she said quietly. The company was in trouble before Seaside. Bad investments, projects that went over budget. I kept it from you because I was ashamed. His voice cracked. I thought I could fix everything without worrying you. The house, I convinced myself it was temporary. That once Seaside succeeded, we'd have something better. You made decisions about our life without me? Emma said. You treated me like a child to be protected rather than your partner. You're right. Nathan nodded. I was wrong. Completely wrong. My father always taught me that a man provides solves problems. I was so focused on fixing things that I destroyed what mattered most. They sat in silence, watching seagulls circle above the water. What will you do now? Emma finally asked. Start over, smaller, honest work. Nathan sighed. Marcus is letting me keep a few residential renovation contracts. It's not much, but it's something. Emma nodded, surprised to feel relief that he wasn't completely ruined. I wish you well with that. As they parted ways, Nathan hesitated. The house sale proceeds, what's left of them. I've transferred to an account in your name. It doesn't make things right, but it's a start. Back at the research center, Emma found Jackson preparing for their field expedition to document coastal erosion patterns. How did it go? He asked, loading equipment into the research boat. Better than expected. Emma secured her sample kit. He seems genuinely sorry, Jackson nodded thoughtfully. People make mistakes, even huge ones. Doesn't necessarily define them. Out on the water, cataloging samples and recording observations, Emma felt a clarity that had eluded her for weeks. The ocean had always been her sanctuary, constant yet ever-changing, powerful but yielding. Today its lessons resonated deeply. Look at this, Jackson called, pointing to a section of shoreline. The hurricane last year completely altered this area, but new life is already adapting. Emma studied the emerging ecosystem. Nature rebuilds, but differently. The original landscape is gone forever. Is that good or bad? Jackson asked. Neither. It's just different. Emma smiled slightly. Sometimes destruction creates space for something unexpected. That evening, Emma used the funds Nathan had returned to make a down payment on a small cottage near the research center. It needed work. The floors were scratched, the paint peeling, but it had potential and, most importantly, it was hers alone. Olivia helped her move in the following weekend, eyeing the property skeptically. Are you sure about this place? It's practically falling apart. I'm sure. Emma ran her hand along the weathered porch railing. It needs restoration, like the coastal habitats I study. Speaking of restoration, Olivia said carefully. Nathan called me yesterday. Emma raised an eyebrow. Why would he call you? Professional advice? He's considering bankruptcy. Olivia hesitated. He also asked how you were doing. And what did you tell him? That you're rebuilding. On your own terms. Later that night, after Olivia left, Emma sat on her new porch watching distant lightning illuminate the horizon. Her phone lit up with a text from Jackson. Equipment ready for tomorrow's expedition. Also, team dinner at Harborside Friday. Nothing fancy. Emma smiled, recognizing the subtle invitation. She wasn't ready for anything beyond friendship, but the possibility of something new felt unexpectedly welcome. She responded, "Count me in." As rain began to fall, Emma thought about Nathan, about what they had lost and what they might yet salvage, not their marriage perhaps, but maybe something else. Understanding, forgiveness, a different kind of relationship built on honesty rather than illusions. She was no longer the woman who had discovered her house sold from beneath her, that Emma had been broken by betrayal. This Emma was being forged by it, stronger, wiser, and increasingly certain that whatever shore she eventually reached would be one of her own choosing. Weathered shores. 6 months passed like the tide, each day washing away a little more of Emma's anger. Her cottage renovation progressed steadily, new windows installed, walls repainted in soothing blues and greens that reminded her of the ocean. The place was becoming her sanctuary, filled with found objects from her beach walks and photographs of coastal wildlife. One evening, Emma was planting native grasses in her small front yard when a familiar truck pulled up. Nathan stepped out, looking healthier than when she'd last seen him, his shoulders straighter, his face tanned from outdoor work. "I should have called first," he said, keeping a respectful distance. "I can go if this isn't a good time." Emma brushed soil from her hands. "It's fine. What brings you by?" "I'm working on a renovation 2 streets over, Mrs. Calloway's place." He gestured vaguely. "I saw your car and thought—" He trailed off, then reached into his truck, retrieving a wooden box. "I found this when clearing out my storage unit. Thought you might want it." Emma recognized it immediately. The handcrafted jewelry box he'd given her on their 5th anniversary, containing shells they'd collected from beaches around the world. "Thank you," she said, accepting it. An awkward silence followed before she added, "Would you like some iced tea? I was about to take a break anyway." They sat on her porch swing, the gentle creaking punctuating their conversation as Nathan explained his new circumstances. "The bankruptcy was finalized last month. I'm working for Jensen Restorations now, focusing on historical renovations. It's honest work." He sipped his tea. "Your place is coming along nicely." "It's a project," Emma admitted. "Keeps me busy when I'm not at the research center." "I hear your team received that major grant. Congratulations." At her surprised look, he added, "Small town. News travels." "Yes. We're expanding our conservation efforts along the entire coastline." Emma found herself describing their projects with growing animation, while Nathan listened attentively. "You always light up when you talk about your work," he observed. "I should have seen that more clearly before." The comment hung between them, acknowledging past mistakes without dwelling on them. "How's your family?" Emma asked, changing the subject. "Mom asks about you. She misses you." Nathan looked down. "They all do. They understand why you left, though." As dusk settled around them, their conversation became easier, memories of their shared past emerging without the sharp edges of recent pain. When Nathan finally stood to leave, Emma walked him to his truck. "I'm glad you're doing well," she said sincerely. "Emma!" Nathan hesitated, hand on the door. "I know I have no right to ask, but would you consider having dinner sometime? Just to talk more, as friends?" The question caught her off guard. 6 months ago, she would have refused immediately. Now, she found herself considering it. "I'd like that," she answered, surprising herself. "But as friends, nothing more." "Of course," he agreed quickly. "That's all I'm asking for." After he left, Emma texted Jackson to cancel their planned evening walk, suddenly needing time alone with her thoughts. Their friendship had been developing into something deeper over the past months. Dinners that lingered into late-night conversations, shared interests that extended beyond work. She valued his presence in her life, but remained cautious about defining it. The following week, Emma and Nathan met at a small restaurant overlooking the marina. Neutral territory, away from memories of their past. Their conversation flowed more naturally than Emma expected, touching on their current lives without rehashing old wounds. "I've been seeing a therapist," Nathan confessed over dessert, "working through why I felt I had to handle everything alone. My father's expectations, fear of failure, it doesn't excuse what I did, but I understand it better now." "That's good," Emma replied, genuinely pleased for him. "Self-awareness is important. What about you? How are you processing everything?" Emma considered the question. "I'm learning to trust my instincts again, to recognize when something feels wrong instead of dismissing it." She twisted her napkin. "And I'm trying to forgive, not just you, but myself for missing the signs." "There's nothing for you to forgive yourself for," Nathan said firmly. "This was my failure, not yours." As they walked along the marina afterward, their hands brushed accidentally. Emma felt an unexpected flutter of familiarity, a muscle memory of 15 years together that her body hadn't forgotten, even if her mind remained cautious. "I should get home," she said, stepping back slightly. "Early field research tomorrow." Nathan nodded, respecting the boundary. "Thank you for tonight. It meant a lot." New Horizons, the conservation gala transformed the aquarium's grand hall into an underwater wonderland, with blue lights casting rippling patterns across the ceiling. Emma smoothed her emerald gown as Jackson guided her through the crowd with a light touch at the small of her back. "Everyone's talking about your team's research," he said proudly. "You've revolutionized how we approach coastal restoration." Emma smiled, accepting a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. "It's been a collaborative effort. Don't be modest. Your methods are being adopted up and down the eastern seaboard." Jackson's admiration was evident in his warm brown eyes. Throughout the evening, Emma found herself enjoying Jackson's company, his intelligent conversation, his considerate attentiveness, the easy way he made her laugh. When he asked her to dance, she accepted without hesitation, allowing herself to be led onto the floor. "I've been wanting to tell you something," Jackson said as they moved to the music. "I've been offered a position heading the Pacific Northwest Conservation Initiative." Emma's steps faltered slightly. "That's incredible. Congratulations." "It's a 3-year project, starting next month." His eyes searched hers. "I haven't accepted yet. I wanted to talk to you first." "Why?" Emma asked, though she knew the answer. "Because what's developing between us matters to me. A lot." His honesty was refreshing. "I'd like to know if you feel the same way." Before Emma could respond, her attention was caught by a familiar figure across the room. Nathan stood near the entrance in a classic tuxedo, speaking with the event organizers. As if sensing her gaze, he looked up, offering a small wave before turning back to his conversation. "He's one of the renovation sponsors," Jackson explained, following her gaze. "His company restored the historical elements of the new Marine Education Center." Emma nodded, oddly unsurprised by Nathan's presence in this world she'd made without him. Later, as Jackson was drawn into a conversation with major donors, Emma found herself alone by the enormous central aquarium. Nathan approached, keeping a respectful distance. "You look beautiful," he said simply. "And your research display is impressive." "I'm proud of what you've accomplished." "Thank you." Emma studied him. "Restoration work seems to suit you." "It does. There's something satisfying about bringing old structures back to life, preserving what's valuable while fixing what's broken." His meaning extended beyond buildings. "I heard about Dr. Rivera's offer in Seattle." Emma raised an eyebrow. "News still travels fast. The marine biology community isn't that large." Nathan hesitated. "He seems like a good man." "He is." Emma watched tropical fish swim lazily through coral formations. "He's asked me how I feel about him taking the position." "And how do you feel?" Nathan asked quietly. Emma turned to face him directly. "I don't know yet. There's still a lot I'm figuring out." Their conversation was interrupted by the announcement of dinner. As Emma turned to leave, Nathan gently caught her hand. "Emma, I need to tell you something. I've been offered a historical restoration project in Savannah. 18 months of work." He released her hand. "I wanted you to hear it from me this time. No secrets." She appreciated his transparency. "When would you leave?" "Next week, if I accept." "I probably will." He smiled sadly. Unless there's a reason to stay. The question lingered unspoken between them. Emma rejoined Jackson at their table, her mind swirling with possibilities and choices. 3 days later, Emma sat on her porch at sunrise, a cup of coffee warming her hands against the morning chill. The decision she'd been weighing had kept her awake most of the night, but clarity had finally come with the dawn. She picked up her phone and dialed. "Can we meet? There's something I need to say in person." An hour later, Emma walked along the shoreline, watching the figure approach from the distance. The morning light cast long shadows across the sand as they stood facing each other. "I've made a decision," Emma began, "about my future. About us." She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. What happened between us broke something essential. Trust, yes, but also my sense of self. For months, I've been trying to decide whether that break was permanent or repairable. "And what did you decide?" came the quiet question. "That some breaks, even when healed, leave marks that change us forever. And that's not necessarily bad." Emma looked out at the horizon. "I've realized I need to follow my own path now, not defined by what we had or what might have been." She turned back with newfound certainty. "I'm not coming to Seattle with you, Jackson." Jackson nodded slowly, disappointment evident despite his attempt to hide it. "Because of Nathan?" "No," Emma said firmly. "Because of me. I've been offered the director position at the Charleston Marine Conservation Institute. It's everything I've worked toward, and I'm taking it." "That's wonderful," Jackson managed. "You deserve it." "Thank you." Emma touched his arm gently. "You're going to do amazing work in Seattle. And maybe someday, if timing and circumstances are different." Jackson smiled sadly. "I understand." "No regrets?" "None," Emma assured him. "You helped me rediscover parts of myself I thought were lost. I'll always be grateful for that." Later that afternoon, Emma drove to Nathan's apartment. He answered the door immediately as if he'd been waiting. "Come in," he offered. Moving boxes were stacked in the living room, half filled with books and framed photographs. "You're really going to Savannah," Emma observed. "Yes." Nathan gestured to the boxes. "Fresh start," Emma nodded, gathering her thoughts. "I've been thinking about what you said at the gala. About restoration. Preserving what's valuable while fixing what's broken." "I meant it," Nathan said quietly. "I know." Emma met his gaze directly. "I'm not coming with you to Savannah." Nathan's face fell slightly, though he tried to hide it. "I understand. But," Emma continued, "I'm not closing the door entirely. We built 15 years together. That doesn't disappear, even with what happened." Hope flickered in Nathan's eyes. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that I need more time, that I've accepted the director position here in Charleston, and that maybe, if you're willing, we could try something new. Not living together, not rushing back into marriage, but getting to know each other again. Slowly. Honestly." "Long distance?" Nathan asked. "To start. Savannah's only a few hours away." Emma smiled slightly. "Consider it a renovation project, with very clear boundaries and expectations this time." Nathan's smile was genuine. "I'd like that. However long it takes." They didn't embrace or kiss goodbye when Emma left. Instead, they shook hands, a formal gesture that somehow felt right for this new beginning, built on mutual respect rather than passionate impulse. 1 month later, Emma stood on the observation deck of the newly renovated Marine Conservation Institute, watching volunteers plant marsh grasses along the restored shoreline. Her phone chimed with a text from Nathan. "Project going well. Found a historical feature we're preserving in the foundation. Reminded me of us. Still solid underneath it all." Emma smiled, typing back. "Some structures are worth saving. Dinner next Saturday when you're in town?" Slipping her phone away, Emma turned her attention back to the coastline. The tide was coming in, waves gradually covering the lower portions of beach. But the newly planted grasses stood firm, their roots already taking hold in the shifting sands. Like those resilient plants, Emma had found her own way to grow through disruption. The painful collapse of her marriage had created space for something unexpected, a stronger sense of self, professional fulfillment, and perhaps a relationship rebuilt on a foundation of truth rather than expectations. The horizon stretched endlessly before her, a boundary between known and unknown that was not a limit but an invitation. Whatever the future held, with Nathan, with her career, with her life in Charleston, Emma faced it not with fear but with quiet confidence. She had weathered the storm and emerged not just intact but transformed, like the coast itself, forever changed but enduringly beautiful in its resilience.